July 28th. Mary and I met with Dave Morgan last Monday just to go over, because my concern was our landlords are still on Rolodex in here. So what we began to do is just, communicate. I can convert all of the data over. We can start with the property databases and kind of work our way backwards and say which of these properties are landlords. Once you have the landlords, then what we can do is a cross-reference to the earned income tax that feeds in from Jordan to make sure that all of our tenants are indeed at least on Jordan's roll. The problem with the whole Act 32 is it's not a perfect system. So you can have somebody that lives in Crafton, works in Weirton or Washington County or whatever. If their employer mismarks it and puts a person in Crafton, perhaps in Green Tree City or wherever, again, 15205 goes from here to Costco. If they put in the wrong, what they call a PSD number, we're not getting credit. So it's a whole data mining. We have to make sure that all of our properties are in there, all of our landlords and tenants are in there, and then that will get us to the businesses and individuals. At that point, then it's real easy. You're looking at hash totals. So if you have 261 businesses 1 year and you drop down to 240, what happened? So these are numbers that are critical for bringing in revenue for Crafton. So what I thought is, Jordan right now does the current. We don't always have to wait for the file from them. And what I wanted to do was make it as palatable for Crafton as possible. So if you would consider, converting from Jordan to eCollect for current, I got them to agree to waive all of their commissions for the first year. I will do all of the data conversion that comes in from them. I'll just do that for free, as well as the landlords and tenants. I'll work with whomever in the borough. Dave Morgan's an extremely good resource. I'm sure Mary or whoever is, but folks, this is our data. So I'll do whatever I can just to get it up there and get it accurate. We have, the worst we've done in any community across the state is a 25% increase. So we would write a 15% increase across the board for earned income and BP. We would just put that in the contract. If we don't hit that benchmark, we would waive all the delinquent fees as well. And then all the direct deposits into the municipal account. So instead of going to the collector's account. And again, everyone's trying to do their part to help out the borough. And I do have these type of resources at my disposal. If you folks would consider it, this isn't a selling thing. I'm just telling you, we have, our success has gone from 25 to 112% increases. And if I can convert the data for free, and that's all I need to do, I'd certainly do that. So.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
With the delinquent fees, what is like the percentage range on that?
I can't remember. There's two fees, April. I can get those for you. The one is just the regular delinquent, and then the second is if it has to go to like jeopardy assessment or litigation. And I can't remember if it's like 15 and 25 or 15 and 20, 25 dollars. I'll get those for you.
And then one more question.
But that is, that the only way they charge fees is if they identify money that you didn't even know you had anyway.
Right.
So it's,
I'm trying to understand that.
No, that's okay.
And then one more question is, in terms of cutting out the middleman, if you will, in terms of the deposits into the third-party collector versus the direct deposit into Crafton Borough's accounts, is there any math on like an increase in?
Well, it's just a float thing. So when we collect it, we give it to you. Part of that is the issue that I encountered at Centex when they had 600 municipalities and school districts. All the money that went into their bank account first, and then they went bankrupt. And the one thing that I tried to prevent and couldn't was they shredded about 12,000 boxes of paper, and in those boxes was about $50 million of checks that never made it to the municipalities and school districts. So when we set up these two companies, that was one thing I said, I won't do it unless it goes to the, that's just me.
Okay. So it's not a matter of the interest collected.
There's no interest right now. If the float ever comes back, if it ever bumps up to like 2 or 3, but
I'm hopeful.
No, where that plays into is the real estate taxes, because that's where the big ticket money is. folks, I'm always available for questions, so.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
All
Mark.
right, thank you.
Okay, so we're going to go into committee discussion items. There's a couple that we're going to skip over. We'll skip over them as we get to them, but I'm going to speak to a few here. Mary's going to speak to one. I know you're going to cover parks. The first one under administration, the garbage contract. This is on here. As everyone knows, the garbage contract is coming up for review. We're going to put out an RFP. The new interim borough manager has asked me, and it's on this agenda item here, for us to establish a committee to see what we'd like to have out of the garbage contract. You know, the million-dollar question is always alleys or no alleys, right? Or is there anything else about garbage collection that we would like to see, either the size of the trucks or whether it can be done with smaller trucks, alleys, no alleys, like I said, but some direction to him about what we might like to see from the garbage contract, because it's going out for review and through an RFP. So I'd ask you to think about that now. We don't have to make any decisions now. I think establishing a committee wouldn't be a bad thing, since you can then, you know, take in the input collectively, discuss it in a smaller setting, in a smaller group where you can actually interact without having to have a public meeting. So if anyone's interested in being on the committee, please share that with me. And any ideas about what you'd like to see out of the RFP, let me know that as well. At the next meeting, we can establish a committee based on our feedback.
Is the current contract available for review?
Yeah, Mary can.
I can put it on the cover.
Okay. Next item, the Debbie Grass, who also we're contracted with for the rest of the year, acting as interim manager as well. She's going to be principally charged with the search for the full-time hires, but as well the 2015 budget. So she's asking for input around, this meeting should start to begin, and she's asking for input around when we'd like to have those meetings, when we'd like to start those meetings. You know, those of us that have gone through the process, you typically start in August, September, not August. So August would be our kind of our planning stage. September we'd start to meet. You kind of want to have it near finalized in November so you can advertise it, because the public has to see it and have an opportunity to review it, comment on it, so that we can actually pass it by the end of the year. So now's the time to start talking about when we have the meetings, and we actually start to meet in September. So if anyone has days that are better or worse for them, or are going to be out of town and for long stretches of time and miss them, now would be the time to mention it. But I'll ask her to attend our next meeting, so she can start to schedule this. If you want to send me your input between now and then, that's fine, and I'll forward it on to her. But expect to be meeting within the next month, I would say. Okay, next one, Parks and Rec. Are you prepared, Tracy, to talk about these three items?
I am.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank everybody who came out to the gala on Saturday. It was wonderful. The pool looked beautiful with all the lights and the luminaries. There was fantastic food provided by Lady Fingers Catering. And I have word that we are about a $3,000 mark from that one event. So I'd like to thank everybody. I saw the mayor there. It was a great night. Everybody got dressed up, and some wonderful partnering with businesses in the community as well through their donations. And it was great, wonderful band. So I hope that as we do more of these events, everybody's willing to come out and share with some fellowship with your community neighbors. Our next event is the Doggy Paddle. It is going to be Saturday, September 6th, and this is a doggy event, so no humans will be allowed to swim in the pool. It is 11:30 to 2. It is $10 a dog, and we are reaching out to our canine-friendly businesses, and we already have some response. They're coming in with wonderful items for raffle baskets and to support our four-legged friends. Again, this all benefits the capital fund that we're trying to raise $1.5 million so that we can have the funds to start at the end of the pool season next year. So after 2015 Memorial Day and Doggy Paddle, the plan is to start demolition and reconstruction, and it's going to be fantastic. So again, that is Saturday, September 6th from 11:30 to 2 o'clock. And I know that evening happens to be the band fest for all the band friends from the high school. That will be held at the field in Carnegie for the school district. So it'll be a great community day. Also, there is no senior dinner this month, and I also wanted to let you know, Mary, I'm not seeing it in Cubby. Is it hidden or put somewhere else? The proposal for the community garden, Andrea, right?
Mhm.
Andrea had Rose to speak at the last meeting, and there was a proposal that was sent, and I asked Jamie for it to be on. She told me she was gonna put it on. Did that just slip through the crack?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so the proposal for the community garden, it really is a great opportunity, but I want you to be able to read the proposal, so apologize that it was not on there when I looked this morning, so it was to be on there. So we'll get that to you, and you can check it out, take a look at what is a community garden, what is it all about, how does it operate. This is something that would be an independent consultant type, just like we do like the yoga program and all of the programs that are running right now in recreation, where it's really no cost to the borough. And we do have some locations that we could utilize. With that said, that'll be coming to you so you can review that. No decision it's not a timely decision matter, so we can take a look at it and talk about it over the next couple of meetings. So that is what I have for you today. That's all for recreation. Thank you.
The email you're referring to
Yeah.
actually got sent to every council member, but not to Mary. I just forwarded it to Mary.
Oh, okay. All right.
She'll
So,
have it.
so you guys did see it in your emails?
To the anyway, I think it
It went to the craft and work one.
it may not have gone to everyone's individual.
Okay,
It went
well, due to the fact that it's not on Cubby, I don't want to put
to,
anyone
it went
on
to
the
all the
spot.
crafton.org, so anyone that isn't using crafton.org didn't get it. So she has it now.
Yeah.
She'll put it on Cubby. Everyone can see it on Cubby.
Yeah, once it's on Cubby, because we're all, trained to look there. So once it's on Cubby, we can all take a look at it and discuss it. But I think it's a great opportunity.
Okay.
That's
Anything
all,
else?
thank you.
Awesome. All right. On the public works side, you want Mary to mention this, the salt contract.
Yeah, you have the basic information that Shaycog sent over to us. They had some difficulty getting bidders, and some of them were really overpriced after some of the problems they had last year. But Cargill, who we had previously, did come in as a low bidder, and they're recommending that we renew our contract with Cargill. So there's 79.
Start putting in the storage now, pretty soon.
Yeah, they feel it's a good price, yeah, $79.29, and it would be with the option years, just like our previous contracts. So give you time to look at it, and we'll probably have something on the next agenda to approve.
Okay. Is there anything on our public safety?
Yes.
To discuss?
I'm going to meet later this week with the mayor and the police department regarding 2 areas for stop signs. At Lawson Avenue that we talked about before, Josephine Street, the mayor's been on vacation, I've been away too, and we haven't gotten a chance to really sit down and look at that. And then the stop sign, McCormick. Another issue came up this past week about possibly a crosswalk up there at Sterrett and Barr. So I'm going to get together with him, and I'll have a better report in 2 weeks.
There was also the issue that came up there at the intersection of, I don't know the name of the street, but near, basically the corner of Alice and Noble, where people always clip that corner and destroy the
Oh, yeah.
sidewalk and the curb. And somebody asked if there was anything we could do at that intersection to limit some of that damage.
What was the intersection, I'm sorry?
Alice and Noble, when you come up Noble,
Oh,
and you're about to
Alice.
go to
Yeah.
Right,
Steuben.
it's Sydney Street,
Yeah.
Sydney Street somewhere, it's not where the curve is on Noble.
Yeah, the curb, yeah.
That's Sydney, and then you make the curve, and then it's on the
Yeah,
left.
but if you ever walk drive by it, the curb and the sidewalk it's been fixed, but you can't keep it fixed because trucks clip it and it's destroyed.
Yeah, put a stop signs in for you guys to get ordinance in on that too.
Yeah, well,
Traffic study.
It's in a traffic study.
We're in the very early stages. We're just gonna look at it and see.
Okay. Anything else, Fred, on public safety?
No, but I wonder if we could use Mr. Rob's help out with that Noble and Sydney thing. Maybe he's got some suggestions that we could.
We'll take a look at it, right?
Yeah.
See what you
Yeah,
think
okay.
after you've looked at the situation. Okay. Moving on to ordinance. So it came to my attention yesterday or the day before that we have some language wrong in our ordinance with regard to the flood map ordinance, which gives citizens the ability to apply for FEMA insurance, which is a subsidized insurance for if you're in the floodplain. So some of the language in our ordinances, I'm told, is incorrect. We have to make a motion tonight to advertise for new ordinance language. So tonight, all we're going to do is motion to authorize the advertisement of it. Spoke with John Trant, the interim manager. He will fix the language, and at our next meeting, he's going to fix the language and make sure the language is right in the ordinance before it gets sent out advertised. But I don't know what that language is, so tonight we're just going to authorize the advertising of the ordinance. But he asked that we do it tonight at the agenda setting meeting so as not to be late for when they can apply. If we don't advertise it tonight, then we can't change it in time, and if we can't change it in time, it can potentially hurt the citizens who want to get this insurance that are actually below the floodplain. So that's why we're acting on this tonight. Comprehensive planning?
Yes, last week I met with a member of Ingram Council, Rick Smith, Rachel Richter from our Planning Commission here in Crafton, and Dennis Pucco, Policy Specialist with the PA Department of Community and Economic Development. The goal there was to get started on a grant that would be awarded by the PA Department of Community and Economic Development for our strategic plan. That is the resolution I have asked for us to vote on tonight. The timeliness of it is important because the first round of awards will be in October. I have the goal of getting the grant application submitted this month in August. So I also would need to talk to our interim borough manager for the writing of that grant, plugging that into the to-do list.
Okay.
And also tonight, I believe Ingram is also going to pass a very similar ordinance.
Okay, good.
Submitted. That's all.
Can I ask questions at this point?
Mm-hmm.
So Ingram is also gonna pass same, and do they apply separately or together? We all apply
It's together. We're the front person, if you will, for it. We're leading it.
So
They are with us.
Are they also gonna commit the money, the 25,000 matching funds?
That
Are they
would
doing
be-
that tonight?
That would be split, so.
The
my-
25,000
yeah, my
is gonna be
understanding
split?
If we got 25,000 from the DCD, 25,000 would be split between Crafton and Ingram. And the language, if you read it, is up to, pretty sure.
Is that what it says, up to 25,000? Because you're asking council to vote on a commitment of $25,000 for this matching fund for the grant.
I believe we already voted to commit 100,000 of our own money prior to this. This is,
So it's an additional 25,000?
no.
Well, it is up to.
Oh, it's up to, and that's split between Ingram. So the other question is, our interim manager is going to spend we only have 20 hours a week. How much time do you think it's gonna take him to do that?
I'd have to talk to him.
Yeah. Yeah, we wanna keep a close handle on that, because he's got 20 hours a week, you know, and he's got a lot of everyday stuff. Is he not required to come to meetings, or?
I'll address that.
Okay. Okay, well, that's all I have.
Okay. Yeah, so we don't have any correspondence to discuss, right, Mary? No. The manager's report. We don't have a manager's report tonight. The reason why the interborough manager is not here is because the language for the contract for the interborough was only finalized about an hour ago. It took a long time back and forth between our attorneys and unfortunately HRG's attorneys, but I just forwarded the document to Mary. She printed it out. I have it for my review tonight. It's been blessed by both their attorneys and our attorneys, as well as Mr. Kazarowski's contract. So he's actually not under contract yet either until I sign it. So they both finished today. I'll sign them tomorrow, and the plan would be to have him at the meetings moving forward. But that's why he's not here today, because we didn't have a signed contract.
Can you tell council what some of the sticking points were?
It was actually a lot of the sticking points were the boilerplate language that they typically contract with is for engineering services. So there was a lot of engineering services language in their boilerplate. That got sent over to ours. They actually took a contract, instead of dealing with that contract, they took a contract that, that we had used back with Mr. Callan, which was much simpler, and they sent that over to HRG. There was a bit of a few days we went sideways because HRG really wanted to amend their own as a part to start from a scratch, which they felt was scratch. And then they couldn't get on the same page internally, changing their own boilerplate. So then we went back to, let's just use the one that was established with Mr. Callan from some years ago. Then they got that one, and now they were dealing with a much smaller document. It was actually much easier to edit it, come to terms. The last item that was on it was about indemnification for liability reasons. If Crafton makes an error, we're not going to hold HRG liable for it. Similarly, if HRG makes an error, we're not going to hold HRG liable for it, which according to our solicitor is very traditional to have double indemnity, in both directions. So, and I think we're all unanimously agreed that that was what we were going to do. It was just the emails back and forth and actually getting the wording right and having everyone read it. It seemed to be more of a semantic issue, in my opinion, right? Than it was any sticking points where something we wanted versus what they wanted. You know, what I made it clear to our solicitor, what we wanted was to make sure we get the rate right and make sure we can cancel for any reason at any time, you know, between now and then. And that's the same with the contract we have with HRG, the same with we have a contract with Mr. Kazarowski. So we have both. We'll sign it. I thank Mr. Kazarowski for working for the last week without a contract. HRG spent a lot of time last week transitioning from Mary, from Jamie, meeting with Mary, meeting with Rob. His company said cease and desist that this week until we have a signed contract. That's why he wasn't able to attend this meeting, but we'll have a signed contract in the morning.
So he'll pick back up tomorrow.
Yep.
There we go.
Yep.
So, typical legalese, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps we could have skinnied out a few days. I'm not sure how, but I'm sure it was possible. But no harm, no foul, I don't believe. Any other questions on that? Okay. We're going to go into the business agenda. We only have 2 motions on it. The one additional motion I'm going to mention for the advertising of the FEMA ordinance, that was not on the public agenda, so if the public has any comments on that, I'll give you an opportunity to comment at that time. But moving directly into it, I'll entertain a motion to authorize payment to A. Moranti Contracting Incorporated in the amount of $74,582.77, representing payment number 2 for work completed between July 4th, 2014 and August 1st, 2014 for the Clearview Avenue Phase 3 project as reviewed and certified by Gateway Engineers.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Amendola?
Yes.
Ms. Amendola?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Mr. Phillips.
Yes.
Ms. Post.
Yes.
Ms. Weitzel.
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes. I'll entertain a motion to adopt resolution number 2014-14, authorizing the submittal of a funding application to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development for multi-municipal comprehensive development plan assistance and to allocate funds as the required match to state funds received.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote, please.
Ms. Amendola.
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Mr. Phillips.
Yes.
Ms. Post.
Yes.
Ms. Weitzel.
Yes.
Mr. Amendola.
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes. I'll entertain a motion to authorize advertisement of an amendment to the borough's floodplain ordinance as required by the FEMA National Floodplain Insurance Program, NFIP.
So moved.
Second.
Any public discussion on this item? Any council discussion on this item? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Mr. Phillips.
Yes.
Ms. Post.
Yes.
Ms. Weitzel.
Yes.
Mr. Amendola.
Yes.
Ms. Amendola.
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes. All right, that completes the business agenda, and we'll move into additional citizens' comments. Oh, I'm sorry.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I did forget one thing from recreation, and I have to apologize. My favorite Pam, Crafton Celebrates is meeting tomorrow, and they're already starting for next year. So tomorrow at 7. They're always looking for new volunteers and to help in the many facets that they have. So Crafton Celebrates meeting tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Thank you.
Here, is it here?
In the community center, yeah.
Okay. Now additional citizen comments.
You can go ahead.
Your name and address, please.
Sure.
Hi, I'm Andrea Markey, and I live at 38 Marion Street. And Ms. Post, thank you for your comments, and I'm super excited that hopefully the community garden and market project can start working out. It's not a super emergency, as you said. It's not, doesn't have to be so timely. However, since last month's meeting, I've been researching a lot of possible funding streams, and some of those do have some deadlines, or it's better to have something in place prior to the growing season so they know it's a real thing. And for any of you who just can't wait to look in the cubby for the proposal, I did make one paper copy so you can look through it, and I actually added something today that I found from a recent Post-Gazette article where they were talking about Main Street in Carnegie lined with culinary charms. And at the gala, which was truly wonderful, I was sitting with some neighbors and talking about Crafton and about this idea, because I'm leaking it out to everyone I talk to in town. And, we kind of got around to, wow, there are all these places in Carnegie. Crafton has so much going for it. Why aren't we like the cool place to be? And I think it sounds like you guys are doing some work to try to get there, and thank you for that. And I do believe passionately that this can be a really good piece to that in some of the research. And you'll see this in the proposal, and I'll leave it there just in case anyone wants to check it out. But community gardens have been shown to increase property values, so I think we're all on board with that. Community gardens have been shown to attract small businesses looking to relocate, and I think there's a lot of good potential for us to get a little more action in some of our commercial areas. And community gardens have been shown to provide education, employment, and entrepreneurship opportunities. I did also want to mention that I did a lot of thinking about this proposal, but I've never done this in a borough before, so everything in my proposal is negotiable, and I'm very anxious to work with whoever I would be working with on next steps and figuring all of that out. So thank you very much. Any questions or anything today? Okay.
Thank you. We'll
Thanks.
review the proposal.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Philip Vassar. I live at 401 Clearview Avenue. I'm just coming to discuss some of the issues that we've been experiencing on Harrison Clearview. One, I just wanted to address the E&S issue with the sides of Harris were addressed by Marantz Construction. We found that they were out there that week and they filled in the deep gullies with concrete. They said to me that they didn't have any guidance from our engineer, and that is a topic of concern. I'd really appreciate a response or some type of dialogue with the mayor or the president and our engineer to address the project in general. I'm very disheartened. My wife and I we've been living without trash service. We understand it, it's construction,